Hello and welcome to Sport Tonight. I'm Cecilia Mogbe right here in Lagos.
What greetings to you wherever you are in the world watching us in London. I'm Austin Okonakwa and Cecilia. Interesting times in the English Premier League. Can you believe it? Nottingham Forest dissecting Sunderland at the Stadium of Light. When you're fighting not to go down, you fight till the end.
That's what you do. You fight till the end, and that's exactly what Nottingham Forest is doing tonight, trying to avoid relegation. Yes, we'll be talking about the English Premier League on the show tonight, and also touch down on the second tier of the Nigeria National League, talking about the NNL. And of course, the draw was done in Lagos today, where you have the four privately owned teams that have gained promotion to the Premier League. They will be in action in Super 4 right there in Ikene at the Remo Stars Stadium. So we'll talk more about that on the show tonight. And also, yes, we will be paying tribute to Michael Eneramo, that's former Super Eagles player who died early hours of this morning. He collapsed on the field and then was rushed to the hospital. He died after that, just at the age of 40. We'll talk about him on the show tonight. And also, yes, we'll be taking a look at the FA Cup coming up this weekend. Manchester City are in action, Southampton in action, because you have Chelsea and Leeds United. So much on the show tonight. Yes, it's football, you will say that, but then sometimes we give you so much more than football. But today, it's all about football, and of course, we're starting up with this man, Nigerian football community mourning the death of former Super Eagles forward Michael Eneramo. I know most people remember him as the Tank, and that's the nickname he had when he was playing at Tunisia. Well, we'll pay tribute to him on the show tonight. But before we do all of them, because Austin will have to talk about him, and also our guest right here in the studio will also be talking about this Super Eagles forward who had 10 caps for Nigeria, Olumide Akombi. It's great to have you join us on the show tonight.
Good evening, Cecilia. Good evening to Austin. Good evening, Lagos, Nigeria, Africa. Yes, I'm excited to be here once again.
All right, we'll start off with on the sad note. Yeah, really, sometimes this is not really what you want to start about, but we need to actually pay tribute to Michael Eneramo. I mean, it's just been, I don't know what's been happening this year. It's a leap year, right? People always talk about, there's this cliche that, so many people usually die during a leap year. I don't want to believe that, but a minute silence was held, during the draw for the National League earlier today in Lagos. As I mentioned earlier, Michael died earlier this morning while playing a football match in Kaduna. He was featuring at the Angwa Yela pitch in television area of Kaduna where the incident occurred. So he came on as a substitute in the second half before collapsing without any contact. According to reports, he slumped and died right on the spot, so efforts to revive him was unsuccessful and he was pronounced dead when he got to the hospital. So he retired from professional football, previously played for several clubs including Besiktas of Turkey, Tunisian side Esperance and Nigerian club Lobby Stars. Before his death, he said he was running a football academy. I mean, it's been all about him, all through, and reports reaching us is that he actually suffered a cardiac arrest, during that 5 minutes into the second half when he came on the pitch. He earned 10 caps for the Super Eagles, and he has spells. He played in Saudi Arabia, in Tunisia, in Algeria, and of course in Turkey. These are the clubs, countries he played, the clubs he played in. Austin, I know you want to mention something about the Tank, and that's the nickname he got while he was, very, very active. Remember in 2012, during one of these 2010 World Cup qualifiers, when he scored one of the crucial goals against Tunisia that allowed Nigeria to qualify for that World Cup.
Yeah, I remember that game so well. It was in Abuja. Michael Eneramo, strong, agile, always dedicated. Look, I was so broken. It's such a shame when young people die. It's just 40 and a cardiac arrest. Sometimes you never just know who is fit or who shouldn't, be running when they shouldn't be running, because I've thought about it. This is a strong guy, and it wasn't as if he was a really, really competitive football game, maybe just those ones that you just played, to keep fit and all. And then it just slumped, and that was it. May his beautiful gentle soul rest in peace. And I pray that his family, the Holy Spirit will comfort them, But it's just so sad. I remember his debut game so well in 2009. That game against Jamaica in London, it ended goalless. And that same 2009, he scored his first goal for Nigeria in that game against the Republic of Ireland in London. Also, yeah, I remember so well. What a player, respected in Tunisia for everything he did for Esperance. Cecilia, it's just April, and it's already a tough year for sports in Nigeria. We've lost, vital personalities in the industry. We lost Pa Onigbinde, we lost Henry Wosu in the broadcasting field. We lost our core professionals, Neo Ileke, Temison Okomi, just recently. God rest their souls. God bless their souls. These are just times where you just reflect and try to, live life the best way you can and be impactful. I like the fact that all of these names that I've mentioned that have left us, they did things that will always make us remember them. Olumide, it's pretty tough. Michael and Eneramo didn't get to play so much for the Super Eagles, but representing your country 10 times and having beautiful details to put on your career is actually something that we should honor.
Spot on right there, Austin. 10 caps, 3 goals for the Super Eagles. But he really did well for himself, playing in Tunisia, had a long spell in Algeria for 2 years. That's with USM Algiers. And then you can see him, progress from, going back to Tunisia and from there to Saudi Arabia, to Turkey, played for a couple of clubs. And in total, 262 games, 110 goals. It's a testament to his physical presence and then the attacking prowess that that he gave at the time. And for him, like you said, most times we know that death is inevitable. It's not something that, but a lot of us want to, just live, for a while. But then for the short spell that you have, what is important is that you create memories, because that's what is left when you're gone. And these are the institution that is going to outlive you. For him, he's done that, and that's why we can recount some of these moments and then talk about these things. And we don't like this, but hey, that's the reality.
Yeah, that's the reality. And also, Austin forgot to mention Ibrahim Galadima, former president of then Nigeria Football Association, was known for his integrity and his level of transparency that is really enviable. The people keep talking about. We pray for the family of Michael Eneramo that they'll have the strength to be able to go through this trying period. Anytime you lose someone, it's always very, very irreplaceable. Okay, we'll leave that and go to the National League. You saw pictures right there when the draw was about to be done, and they had to pay him that respect before the draw started. Now, for the National League, well, living up to its reputation of being one of the most difficult league to actually play in, especially when you have so many clubs. Only 4 will have opportunity to get into the top flight. Let's just take a look at the fixtures. The draw has been done earlier today in Lagos. Take a look at the Super 4 tournament Day 1 fixtures. Day 1, Sporting Lagos will be up against Ranchers B, and of course Doma United and Inter Lagos. All these clubs privately owned are in the MPFL, and I hope maybe they have more money. Just imagine each of them having their own stadium. That would be huge, at least 30,000 capacity, not 17. Okay, Doma United, they're returning to the early division after 2 seasons in the second tier. It was founded in 1997. The club is owned by Sulaimon Umar, a Gombe-based businessman. So let's take a look at the other club also promoted. That's Inter Lagos, qualified to play in the elite division. First time in their history. It was founded just in 2023. The club is co-owned by football executive Larry Vigo, Olumide Fayanke, and Gutumi Aliyu, both co-founder of tech firm Vanessa Africa. So, well, they've got the tech. Put it into it and see how you can make this club bigger. And of course, Sporting Lagos, we know how Sporting Lagos with their fans and the frenzy and the moments they create in Lagos, you always want to go watch them at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena anytime they are playing. They're back to the early division after 2 seasons in the lower cadre. Founded in 2022, the club is owned by, we know him, Shola Akindele, CEO and co-founder of fintech firm Paystack. So Sporting Lagos are back. So more top flight football for Lagos fans. And you have Ranches B returning to the early division after 16 years. It took them a long time for them to get back into it. Was founded in 1974. The Kaduna-based club was first owned by former Senator Mohammed Aruwa before it was acquired by a consortium led by Super Eagles and Valencia forward Sadiq Umar and a serving House of Representatives member. You have Mohammed Bello El Rufai, and that was just last year. And this season, now they are back. So next season, they will be playing in top flight. So all these 4 clubs are privately owned. You see, you could see the history, the story, and the owners, politicians, they're businessmen, and so they want to put in, the money and see how it will grow. And I love the fact that one of these clubs also, you have Super Eagles forward, Sadiq Umar also part of the owners, especially when it comes to Ranches B. But earlier today in Lagos, Austin, there was an event that was hosted. I mean, it was glamorous. You have almost all the sports administrators, football administrators in Nigeria right there. The thing is, the prize money is 10 million naira, and the 3 other participants with each pocket 2 million naira. So the winners will go home with 10 million naira. And you had NFF president there, the DJ National Sports Commission also there. You have former players like Victor Ekbeba, Daniel Lamokachi, all of them were in Lagos to actually witness this draw. So Super 4 is going to hold from May 4th to May 8th, and this will be at Remo Stars Stadium in Ikenne, Ogun State. Austin, before you chip in something here, let's take a listen, to those who were at the event, the owners of the clubs, and also former players who attended this event.
18 years ago was the last time Ranchers was played. I think credit goes to Sadiq Umar, the Nigerian international, and Bello Erufai, who privately, purchased the team. And within 6 months, the team had found himself in the Premiership. That's the advocation of private sectors getting involved in this beautiful game of ours, because we need this game to be business.
We have come to make a name. We have come to make a pronouncement, and we have come to show that up north there are private teams that can do it, and will surely do it. It will be more competitive if we have private teams in the Premiership. Government teams, sorry to say, they don't know what actually it is to bring flair into the game.
There's the template at Sporting Lagos, and it is to play fair and earn our results on the pitch. Our attitude is not to win at all costs. We will never do that. We'll continue to play football. We'll continue to do the business of football, which is the most important thing. We are going to Ikenne to play football. Let the kids enjoy football. Last year, we decided that no player in Sporting Lagos will be more than 22, 23 at the most. So a lot of them are from our academy. So that means that we have young people. And like I always tell them, boys, go and enjoy football. So we are going to Ikenne, Remo, to enjoy football. Of course, we want to win, but we will play fair and enjoy football and win.
Our first season, we got to the playoffs. We didn't make it to the MPFL. Second season, we were third in our group. Now, this third season, and we're gathering our own experiences, so to say. But we're very, very happy. But we know we're good learners, and we're very patient people. We're not going to bite more than what we can chew when we get to the MPFL. We know it's not easy. We're now playing with the big boys now. We also want to grow. We want to be, but we know with time, the same way we started in NNL, within 2-3 years, we'll be contenders in the Nigerian Premier Football League.
This guy's got dreams, right? Austin, did you listen to one of them that said, well, government-owned clubs don't play football? Like, is he even watching the Nigeria Premier Football League, or what is he watching? Has he watched Rangers?
He has a
Watch
point.
Ramos?
No, he has a point.
Has he
Cecilia,
watched
he said
Rangers
something
play?
about flair, and that's because if you check some of the state-owned teams, they're dominated, with old players, I listened to what Godwin Inaina said about Sporting Lagos, that they have a philosophy that the players shouldn't go beyond 22, 23, so that means the academy will be busy, players will look forward to, making progress, not when you have a guy who is...
They don't want to play in the Champions League. You see why they always beat Nigerian clubs? No experienced players, and you want to go and play against clubs like what? Esperance of Tunisia. Or
it just goes to tell you that you have to build properly at the base. You build from bottom to top. How old is Phil Foden? Look at how much experience he's got in his hands. How old is Bukayo Saka? How old is Lamine Yamal?
Okay.
Because they have done enough to pass through the proper basics of foundation.
And Austin, these guys you just mentioned, they've got 28-year-old, 25 years old, and even 30-year-old in their team. So you can tell me you have older players, then you have younger players. Do not tell me that you are going to use 22-year-olds. Where in Nigeria, we know that they won't have as much experience to go to the continent to play. Now you know why our clubs, see what happened to Rivers United, for instance.
I agree with
their
you,
young
Cecilia,
stars, they came back chipping in goals.
I'm just saying the Doma United official isn't out of place to say no disrespect to the government team, that they don't bring the sort of flair that the private teams will bring. Because first, those ones, they are coming with a structure, they're coming with a system, they're treating football as business, and they will genuinely be sincere with themselves that they are bringing up players that they know they want to send to Europe or to bigger leagues and make money. I think that's the point they're trying to make.
Okay.
And Doma United, no disrespect again, they gave us some good football, Lumide. I think 2-3 seasons ago when they came.
Yeah.
I remember the stunner of a goal that Doma United defender scored that really got us talking. So we love this sort of conversation. It's a form of reawakening that we need to reflect. I liked what Godwin said. I liked what our former referee Adigwe talked about with Inter Lagos also. And with what Daniel Amokachi said about Ranches B. 18 years ago was the last time. And I like the fact that Ranches B is coming back to the league, Olumide, because we need teams that carry the history and tradition of league football in Nigeria to play in the league.
Well, we need much more than that. Cecilia is saying something that I think that maybe that's where I start to build it up. When you watch teams championship side, what you have is they mix it up. You have youth, you have experience. You cannot rely on just youth. These youths don't have, you look at them as a collective, they don't have the physicality, they can't go the full yard, they don't have enough experience. How many games have they played? But hey, I'm not saying don't give them opportunities, but NPFL is different from NNL. This is where the big boys play. And from here, you are likely going on the continent, where the bar is also higher than what you have in Nigeria. So for you to scratch that ceiling, you have to really, really go all out and get the brightest and the fittest players. And that cannot be from the academy. You need to look around. But beyond that, yes, I like the fact that after 16 years, Ranchers, they are back. They are not just back, they are back now with even people who have got a good model of what football looks like. One of them, the co-owners, Sadiq Umar, is even still actively a football player. So there's a lot of influence and impact that can come from him. There's plenty of money. We are not having players going on strike because they are not paid. They may not be getting the best amount, but what they have is consistent, and their welfare package is also good. I love the fact that these 4 teams are all privately, owned teams. Austin mentioned Doma United. 2 seasons ago, they were in the league, and then they went down. But they are back now, and I'm sure that that experience. I remember that season, that before going down, first stanza of the league, they looked like they were in contention to win the title. But second season, and that's where experience comes. They just didn't know how to. Like we say in Nigeria, there are two phases. There's the first stanza where you played in 19 games, and then second season is jungle, where the jungle, can you go the full yard in the jungle? And I'm sure they've learned one or two things, but I'm excited about this. You have 4 teams coming from the second tier. Right now, you look at the top division, Barao seems to be safe. There is Ikorodu City. That means you're having 6 teams, privately owned teams, playing in the top division. That is some massive improvement for Nigerian football.
It is really. We'll go on a break. When we come back, we'll be listening to the administrators who were at the event talking about development of the game in the country. Well, let's take a listen to the administrators at the event.
Thank you. We believe that growth should be inclusive and it must reward winners and also strengthen the entire ecosystem. So to that, every club that is playing and that's giving their talent and their time does matter. And I want to be clear that while this is progress, it nowhere reflects our final destination. It nowhere reflects our final ambition for what we want to do with the league over the coming years. We are nowhere yet where we want to be, but every step we take, every improvement, every investment brings us closer to building a league that is stronger, more competitive, and more sustainable.
Value is what we are seeing, and I expect the private sector to come out now and support this league. It is the most important league in our football. And for those who do not know why I called it the most important league, it is this transition from the amateur into professionalism to the elite class of football. So how do you ignore that? If you don't play well, you go back to amateur. If you play well, you join the big boys. So that's the room that creates leadership, that creates talent to the upper echelon.
Women football is seriously needs support from all angles, and Nigeria cannot stay behind because we are the #1 female football team in Africa. We are the team, they are the country that every African country looks after when it comes to women football. So therefore, we cannot stay behind without giving you the support that you needed so that you bring money to women's football. And on that note that we decided to say that even at WAPU B, there's going to be women football administrators workshop. I said it cannot go to anywhere. Women football is played in Nigeria, and we have to come to Nigeria and do that workshop. And that workshop will commence from Sunday to Tuesday next week by the grace of God in Nigeria, where the 7 countries administrators of women football in West Africa B will converge in Abuja to participate in that workshop.
Yeah, you heard from Guso there talking about the CAF 3-day CAF Women's Football Administrators Workshop that will be held in Nigeria. And so other African countries are looking to Nigeria when it comes to women's football development. I think they've actually passed us. Are they still looking forward to us? Maybe they are looking towards Nigeria based on the fact that Super Falcons are 10-time champions. But in terms of structure, in terms of league development, in terms of putting money into the game, in terms of getting teams ready, go to Morocco, South Africa, even Kenya, Cote d'Ivoire, they've left you as NFF president. I guess you should check that. Austin, I believe you listen to all of them. You have something to say concerning that before we move to the English Premier League.
The talk is cheap, I always say it, and these guys know I call them out all the time, But shout out to Chichi and her team, trying to give us reasons to think about building from bottom to top, and I heard Bukola Olopade, the DG of the NSC, saying it again that the NNL is the most important league. I agree, but it shouldn't just be the NNL. That's the most important. What about the NLO? What about the structures you need to build under the NLO that will take you to the NNL before the MPFL? We must invest in long-term, planning and organizing. We must build structures, build systems. Really, really important. I was listening to some officials of Leicester City say, yeah, so what if they're going to League One? This Leicester City that 10 years ago they won the NPFL and they played in the Championship, and now they're going to League One, the third tier. And he says, so what? That's just a reflection for them to, see ways to get better and come back. That's because he knows that there's a structure there that they will go and meet and use it to rise up again, But in the Nigerian Premier Football League, once you go below the NNL, you are forgotten. Just forget about it. So shout out to Chichi and her team. Ibrahim Gusso say that, you heard him pick up the Super Falcons again. But what sort of attention, investment have we given to the Super Falcons to make them that solid brand that we claim they are? Absolutely nothing. And we talk about it all the time. We call this NFF out. They don't do nothing, but it's easy to go out there and just throw their names around. Yeah, it is what you sow, you reap, Cecilia.
Yeah, that's what it is. Well, WAFCON is coming up, right? It's in July. We're all anticipating and waiting to see what the Super Falcons can bring. They're not preparing, nothing going on. International break over. Nothing happened with the Super Falcons. Okay, let's move to the English Premier League before we go to the FA Cup. Just going to run through. I don't know why. Why are you laughing? I don't get it. You're distracting me. Olumide, what's going on?
Carry on.
Okay, thank you. So let's take a look at the weekend fixtures for this, Premier League. Fulham and Aston Villa will be in action. You have Liverpool and Crystal Palace, West Ham United and Everton. These two sides, they understand what they need to do. The message is clear: win or you draw, or you're going to drop. Wolves and Tottenham. Tottenham understand the message also: win and then pray that these two draw. And then that's going to help you. Arsenal and Newcastle. These guys don't have a choice than to win. Condemn. Man United and Brentford, just play for it. But United, they understand what it is. The mission to get into Champions League after failing to play this season. They will definitely want to do that. These are the fixtures for this weekend. So we're going to be dissecting this before we move to the FA Cup. And I know the most important game that everyone will be looking at is Newcastle and Arsenal. What is the reason? Plenty. Why? Because you look at these two sides. Why are you smiling? These two sides, both teams have scored in 6 of the last 8 league games. Newcastle have lost. They've lost their last 4 matches. 9 of the last 10 outings, they featured at least 3 goals. So that means they know how to score. And what about Arsenal? Arsenal have won only 1 of their last 6 across all competitions. That is why this is dicey. Now, for Newcastle, they've claimed just 1 draw and suffered 12 defeats in their last 13 visits to the Emirates. So that is why this is really key.
It's a very, very interesting fixture. These two sides for me currently they've dipped. Their form is not good. For Arsenal have scored, I think, 4 goals in the last 5 games, and they've conceded in every game they've played. And like you said, you look at the winning ratio, and that's why right now City are ahead. Yes, you say goal difference, they are tied on point. Arsenal, all that is required is this weekend just to beat Newcastle. Can you do that at home? Newcastle are not good travelers.
They've always been doing it, yeah?
Yeah, they are not good travelers. But the question here is Arsenal don't create enough. They are not expressive enough. They don't look like a side that wants to get a goal against a team. And when you don't score,
they actually changed that against Manchester City, but it was a little too late before that.
Well,
because the game against City, maybe, yes, they didn't win, but I think that was one of their best games this season, really.
I still think that they didn't go all out. They didn't go all out. You can still see them trying to sit back a bit. Unlike the Arsenal that we saw in the first half of the season. That was the Arsenal that, and funny enough, how they were not conceding goals. Why? They have the control, they get in your face, they create enough chance. They get physical, the 50-50s, the second balls, the duels. They are everywhere to punish you.
Maybe because some injury worries. Yeah, Bukayo Saka has missed their last 5 games. Ricardo Calafiori's 3 last games, but they're returning against Newcastle. Maybe that could have been it when you don't have maybe a leader, on the field. Sometimes
it's hard to call this game, but Arsenal are favourites because of Newcastle's away form. It's terrible. It is terrible. Arsenal can take this.
Okay.
Arsenal. Yeah.
Austin, 2 weeks ago, Arsenal were favourites to win the league title, 9 points ahead of Manchester City, and now we are having a debate that they actually need to beat Newcastle to see if they can.
What a twist! What a twist in the race for the title, Cecilia. I've tried over and over again to look at where Arsenal would have lost it. What were they thinking? This is April, mid-April, almost the end of April, and you are no longer on top of the league table. What happened? It's really tough for Mikel Arteta and his team, and they need to find the right mentality. In their last 5 matches, they won just one. Same with Newcastle. So, and if you take a look at Newcastle and Arsenal in the last 3-4 seasons, the Magpies, they know how to trouble Arsenal, until this season that Arsenal had to dig deep and found a way to beat them at St. James's Park by 2-1. So this game has got all or nothing written on it for Mikel Arteta and his Arsenal team. They must show character. They must show that they can compete for this league title. They must prove a point that this title is theirs to lose, that yes, whatever happened has happened. Come all out. Now that you know that you are trying to keep the ball, protect yourself from scoring, from not conceding, and you are still losing,
just go
now
out.
You have to express yourself. Because Pep Guardiola and his team, they've spread their wings now. They want to fly. Let's even be thankful that Manchester City did not destroy Burnley. Pep is still mad that game finished 1-0 because now he wants to score so much goals just in case they are tied on the same point. It's pretty tough, but this is a game that would definitely get us talking. Let's listen to some talking points coming out from that game. It's going to be fireworks.
It's 5 games to go, 4 weeks, 2 big competitions to play for, and everything to play for. If somebody would have told us at the beginning of the season, we would have taken it, and we are so excited. And tomorrow is game 1. You have to put everything into it. That's what I said, is all in. When you're going to play now those 5 games that start tomorrow, everything that you have to put it on the table, and you have to make it happen. That's clear. We are just talking about a lot of possibilities. The first thing that you have to do, and the right to win the game, and then win it, and then depending on how the situation is, you can think about something else. But the priority is that you have to be better than the position and the right to win the game and win it. That's the first thing.
Mikel Arteta, I completely agree with you. And Olumide said something pivotal. He said they need to put everything on the table and make it happen. This Gunners team, are they wounded mentally? Can they actually push for this league title?
They can. It's a question of character, like you mentioned. It's a question of character. When you watch City play, it's not about abilities. It's about the mentality. It's about the character, the approach. They go into games believing that they can do it, and you see them. They can take risk. Arsenal are not ready to take risk. Okay. That's something I see about them. Arsenal can score a goal, but these days, when you go into games, you should be scoring 2 or 3 games because the opposition, your defense is not as solid as, you go back to the first half of the season. Now they need to take risk. They need to show character, attitude, the mentality. I listened to Martinelli and he was talking about how they want to, write their names and they want the club to know that, hey, in their time, they did something great for the team. You walk the talk. When you say things like that, when you get on the pitch, there are games that you play and you lose, but everybody claps for you and say, yes, they gave everything.
That's how Arsenal used to play.
Yes, but they don't do that these days. Yes. So for you, Newcastle they can beat Newcastle. Yeah. But that belief, we have to see that in expression, in performance. You have to create chances. You have to deny them of the ball. You have to be in their faces, frustrate them. It's business end of the season. 5 games. These days, Nobody wants you to play beautiful football. They just need results, and results will mean that you do everything you can
to get that
result.
Let's just hope it's not another hat trick of near misses. 2023, 2024, and this is 2026. Once Pep is chasing Arsenal, they just have a way of, putting them down. All right, let's talk about Tottenham. Tottenham understand the business. Just win. And then while you're winning, and also hoping that Everton and West Ham ends in a draw, or Everton beats West Ham. You know how dicey that can be when it is no longer in your hands. So for De Zerbi, well, he has won. He's suffering. Tottenham starts to show a stronger mentality to avoid relegation. 2 points from safety with just 5 games left. Well, and not just that. The last time they played in second tier was 1977-78 seasons. Third from bottom, winless in 15 games.
Wow.
And Austin mentioned the last time they won was in December. So it simply means they haven't won a game this year. That's what it means. So, and De Zerbi is the 3rd manager this season. They sacked Thomas Frank, Igor Tudor, and now you have this guy who is trying to see how he can help them to avoid relegation. Austin, I know he's got some things to say concerning this game, right?
Well, I was like, De Zerbi, I don't understand. Tottenham, even their fans, they're wishing him bad. I listen to some of their fans on local radio, and they said they don't like him, because of comments he made about Greenwood back in the day. And they actually condemned his appointment, but the man is desperate to make history with Tottenham. Now it's so tough for them. Nottingham Forest, they're doing a great job at the Stadium of Light. First half already, they were 4 goals up. And as I'm watching it now, I do not see any way Sunderland will come into this one, because we're approaching the 80th minute and it's still Sunderland 0, Nottingham Forest 4. That makes it very difficult for Tottenham, because if they win, as you mentioned, they need to hope for West Ham to drop against Everton. Now, you see, when you have a situation like that where your destiny is no longer in your hands, then you're in a big mess. Let's listen to De Zerbi.
The next game in Wolverhampton is not an easy game, for sure. The last 3 games at home, they made a draw with Arsenal 2-2, and they won with Aston Villa and Liverpool. So they are alive. It's a tough game because they are nothing to lose. It's an important game for us, for sure, but we have to be able to play not too much pressure. And my work from now until tomorrow is to prepare the game of my best, to prepare in the best way, but to play a game, to play football, because these players are very good players. They have important qualities, and they play without too many problems in their head.
He did a great job in trying to say no pressure. Olumide Tottenham, they are carrying all the pressures in the world at the moment, because look, this is them and this is relegation, and they're going away to Wolverhampton Wanderers. Yes, they're down and out, but they are playing for pride.
Yes, they're playing for pride. That's what you do. They're already down. There's nothing to be afraid of. You just go out there and enjoy your football. You listen to De Zerbi. He's saying the right things, but there is no iota of confidence in what he's talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, so, I mean, if I'm a player and I listen to him,
it's not inspiring confidence.
It's not, I don't, and this is a team, you're talking about Wolves, that if you check their last 3 games, they are in form. And so, I think this is another draw, a loss for Spurs.
Okay, let's quickly go to the FA Cup and take a look at the fixtures for this weekend, and also listen to the manager who inspires confidence. Manchester City and Southampton will be in action. You have Chelsea and Leeds United. Well, there's a big job waiting for the new Chelsea interim coach. Let's take a listen to Pep Guardiola talking ahead of this game. But one thing is certain, that Rodri will not be risked in this semi-final of the FA Cup.
Yeah, they are happy. The guys that don't play much, not as much happy. That must be. And now just focusing on the game tomorrow. What you have to do with the selection for the, for the spirit, how it is, how recover the players for the last two incredible demanding games, and yeah. So semi-final always tough. Living day by day. No, it's not. Records are numbers. Means how fun we have been, or we are, and will be. So that is the point. So no, I wouldn't wake up in the morning and think, we won, what do you want? Make me that day happier. No, it's what happened, and now we have opportunity, play semi-final Wembley again, and try in a few weeks reach the final.
Reach the final, that is what is important. And for Pep Guardiola, well, Southampton, they've not lost a game this year in January. So a big one. You're smiling, right? So you're playing against a resurgent team like that. You have to take everything easy. Can they or can they not? Because Pep, they're chasing two things, right? There's the FA Cup they're chasing. There's also the fact that they could just win, their 7th league title in 9. Okay. You want to react to quickly? I'll give you 30 seconds.
It's a question of how many goals City
they will score. Okay.
This is their first loss this season. They should just take it.
Really?
So, yeah, Southampton is not getting anything
from here. Yeah. All right, now, Chelsea, right? Austin, Chelsea interim boss, Colum McFarlane. Now, this guy has a lot, but he says the players must believe, and the way to start is to beat Leeds in the FA Cup this weekend. You want to see how they can actually salvage their season, at least winning a game this weekend. You know, they haven't scored in their last 5 games. As you mentioned yesterday, the year this Titanic song, that's the year they had that woeful, very woeful, bad record. But now 7 defeats in 8 matches. Well, what's the coach saying?
Unacceptable, record for Chelsea. And Colum McFarlane is saying, look, he's having a deep reflection. He's saying, the players, this is a good way to pick yourselves back up. Listen to him.
We haven't had a clear the air meeting. We have got the group focused for Sunday, spoken about the game plan and how we're going to approach the game both in and out of possession. And it's really important that we have a real focus for the game on Sunday. We can't be thinking about anything else. What's gone on in the past doesn't need to be spoken about. It's just everything geared towards Sunday. Yeah, we definitely need to improve the performance. The performance against Brighton wasn't good enough, we know that. And it's about trying to figure out the reasons why from a technical and tactical perspective, and make sure that the group are in a better place to execute the game plan on Sunday.
Yeah, that will be a very tricky game for Chelsea, because Olumide, let's do this quickly. They have some sort of rivalry going on, with the cup competition, upsets are bound to happen.
Yeah, they're bound to happen. And this is a side that they've defeated Chelsea this season. They put 5 goals past Chelsea, and they've gotten 4 points from them. So very tricky, very open. They both can take it. Depends on who wants it the most.
Who want it more, right? Yeah. We'll just, before we go, quickly mention this one. Well, Carlos Alcaraz is out of the French Open. Whatever happened at the French Open, there will definitely be a new winner. Maybe Yannick Sinner will get to have that trophy for him. The last two tournaments he played is all about Carlos Alcaraz. Carlos Alcaraz. You're not going to talk about tennis. We have to go, really.
That life can be so deep. Carlos Alcaraz has shown that, look, he can actually bust the French Open, and life said no with that wrist injury, unfortunately. That's the show in London. I'm Austin Okonakpan. In everything you do, remember, keep talking sports. Bye for now.
It was nice doing this with you again.
It's good to be here.
Alcaraz, I know. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Cecilia Mogbe. Do have a fantastic weekend.